Hey guys, it's Coach Kathy here. Welcome back to my kitchen, and we're going to do something a little different today. Normally, I show you how to make my 80% foods, which are typically keto, low carb, gluten-free, sugar-free, all the things. But today, I'm actually going to show you a 20% food. And remember, our 20% foods are foods that we eat 20% of the time that satisfy some cravings and that look nothing like our 80% foods. And as you can tell by the Christmas decorations and everything, it's the Christmas season. I'm hanging out in my kitchen, haven't had a shower yet, got my sweats on, but I'm gonna make some nougat. And this is a very, very popular recipe, and I give this out as gifts during the Christmas season. And this recipe has been shared on Facebook over 100,000 times. It's not mine. The woman is named Leanne LaFleche, I don't know how to say her last name. If you like this recipe, and if you want to see more fun stuff like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And with that, we'll get started. So it's really easy. You just have to remember 2, 2, and 2. So this is for the base, the white part of the nougat. So this is 2 tablespoons of butter, and it's going to get melted in the microwave with 2 bags of white chocolate chips. And then it's supposed to be 2 small bags of mini marshmallows, but I'm just using 1 big one. So before we put too much in here though, this is my secret weapon for nougat, because it is like napalm, guys. You touch that and that's going home with you. It's very, very, very sticky. You're gonna want to spray your bowl, your spatula, everything you can that you don't want this to stick to with this non-stick cooking spray. So there's 1 bag. And I like to do this the first time. You can probably do 1.5 minutes, but after that, you're going to want to do it in maybe 30-second increments. So I like to melt my butter and my chocolate first and then add my marshmallow. Just gonna show you what this looks like at 1 minute and 30 seconds. So we have our butter, and we're just gonna stir, and it's gonna surprise you. It really comes together quite quickly. I think we probably will need to do 1 more minute, but it's really close already, so that's awesome. While that's in the microwave, we have some things to talk about because it goes quite quickly from here on out. So once the marshmallows have expanded and we combine it into it's almost gonna be like a fudgy mixture, that's when we need to work quickly. So you want to flavor your nougat, and vanilla is typically what people use. If you want your nougat to stay bright white, you do need to get clear vanilla, which can be found like in the wedding cake baking aisle section, like Wilton makes it, but I'm just using vanilla. And I also really like the cherry almond flavor because I'm using fruit today, like fruity candy. So I like kind of playing on that cherry flavor. So I'm also going to add some almond extract. Now for your candies, and this is important, you can't use a softer gummy like gummy bears, gummy worms. They'll melt with the heat of the marshmallow and the butter, and they'll go all oily and greasy and gross. You need to use a more firm and or sugared one. So, because the nougat is so sweet, I really like using sour candies. So I'm going to use sour watermelons, and they're kind of pretty because they're pink and green, so they make a good Christmas color. Swedish berries are firm enough that you can use them, so they're actually really good to use. And here in Canada, we're crazy about all things peach. Peach juice, peach slices, peach drink, all of that. So I'm going to put some fuzzy peaches in here, which are like sour peaches. And also at my local baking store, they had these pretty mini gumdrops. So they're really good in gumdrop cake too. And at the dollar store, I found some red and green Sour Patch Kids. So they're gonna go in. And then I have another bag of just mixed gummies that were kind of hard. And I noticed at the Dollar Tree, they had red and green jujube. So I'm just gonna go grab our marshmallow mixture and see how we're doing. This may need to go back in 1 more time, but we'll see. Kind of have to work with it a little bit because at first the white chocolate is going to seem like it's seizing up on you and like it's not going to want to cooperate and play along. But as the marshmallows melt, it all does really come together. It's a good arm workout again. Don't feel so bad about eating the nougat if you get a little workout while you're making it, right? Just kidding, you can't out-exercise a bad diet. There's nothing wrong with eating yummy stuff like this once in a while. This isn't an everyday food. This isn't, I literally only make nougat at Christmas, so it's a big treat around here. So that's almost ready, almost, but I'm just gonna spray 1 more time, and we're gonna go in for 1 more minute, so we'll be right back. Okay, let's get this beat up and see how it looks. So Leanne did say, oh, this looks great. This is nice and melty now. And if this ever stiffens up on you too much, you think, while you're messing around with your extracts or whatever, it can go right back in the microwave. That's totally fine. So she did say to use 2 cups total of candy, but that's up to you. The more the merrier for me. And you don't need to pre-chop your candies either, because once your nougat cools, it's going to cool in this. You want to use like a fairly big tray that's lined with parchment paper. That's very important. And you're even going to have to spray your parchment paper because, again, this stuff is sticky, guys. And as you're cutting your nougat, that will in turn cut your pieces of candy. So you do not need to pre-cut your candy. I've seen people do that in groups. I'm just thinking like you're wasting your time. You don't need to do that. Ooh, this really smells like cherry almonds. So this is awesome. I'm actually making 2 batches, so I only have 1 thing of Sour Patch Kids, so that's getting the whole one for now. I'm just gonna get 1 bag of the Swedish berries, 1 bag of the sour watermelons. They look so pretty together. 1 bag of the fuzzy peaches, minus 1 that I'm gonna eat. And then we're gonna do half of this mixed one, and we'll save some of that for the other. And so, I mean, this is probably close to 2 cups of candy. It might be pushing 3 by the time I put these in. But to me, I always think it looks like multicolored lights on a white string. Like this just reminds me of like Hansel and Gretel, gingerbread house. That gives me total vibes like that with all the different color candies together. It really, really looks Christmassy. But if you are seeing this and it's Valentine's Day or something, it would be really pretty if you did a bunch of pink and red or pink, red, and purple candies. That would be so pretty too. So, or Easter, you could do pastel things. It's starting to stiffen up on me, so that means I don't have much time left. So I've got to get it in my pan. We're going to spray our parchment paper, and then it's just going to come out in 1 big blob. This is where I feel like Willy Wonka a little bit. And now we just need to get it into as even of a layer as we can. And you have some time. It's okay. You can still work with this and push it around and move it around. And then it's going to go into the fridge, or if you live in Canada like me, put it out on your doorstep for 10 minutes because it's cold today. I think it's like 27 Fahrenheit today. So this isn't going to take any time to set up. Another little trick to do that is to spray the top and then use your parchment paper just to kind of even it out a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I mean, if you're looking for that really like candy factory, very cohesive look, that's the way. And this is kind of what we're looking for right here. So I'm gonna pop this outside. I'm gonna go eat my extra fuzzy peach, and then we're gonna come back and cut it and try it. We'll see you in a minute. Alrighty, here's the magic moment. This is why I wanted you to use parchment paper, because you can just lift it right up and out. So that makes things really easy. And you're gonna wanna have a fairly big knife for this, if at all possible. I mean, like, don't go buy a special nougat knife or anything, but if you have a bigger knife, it does help, and it also helps to spray your knife. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. And this couldn't be easier. You decide the size. This is, you do you. Cut them in circles if you want to, I don't care. But I like to do about 1-inch pieces because it is fairly chewy, because there is a lot of candy in it. You don't want your friends to have to chew for 6 hours trying to get a piece. So I like to do just like 1-inch pieces. And again, it's going to cut right down through the candy, so you don't need to pre-chop them. I'll show you a cross section. Isn't that gorgeous? Close to where I live, in the next town over, there's actually a candy factory, and it's where they made the world's first candy bar. It's called Gnong. And Gnong used to make nougat. And it would have been like white and creamy and had jeweled citrus fruit like this. Not exactly the same, but it's similar. So I always think of their nougat though when I'm making mine. Then we'll just go ahead and cut this way. And don't worry about these guys on the end that are kind of rounded. It's fine, it all goes down the same. And I'm gonna show you how I like to package them up. Depending on how many I'm giving away, if it's a big batch, I would use one of these containers from the Dollar Tree. and just line the bottom with some parchment first and put parchment in between each layer because they do kind of want to stick together. And then you just fill it up and it's easy to pop right in the fridge. But if you're giving away a littler one, these little tins from the dollar store are super cute too. This is this year's tin. And it just makes a fun little presentation. So that's how I'm going to do these today. And again, you just want to be sure to line every layer of your nougat with parchment paper so your guests or whoever you're giving this to isn't stuck trying to get it out. So I'm gonna take an ugly corner piece and just make sure I didn't mess this up. I tell you, this is good to keep in the fridge or freezer. It does freeze very well too. You can absolutely make this in advance, but it kind of helps you stay out of it. If this is on the counter, it's kind of hard to not walk by and eat a piece every time. So let's see how this one did. Oh, I got a watermelon. That's my favorite part. This is so yummy. From my kitchen to yours, Merry Christmas. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Let me know if you make it. And also don't forget the dried fruit and the dried nut version. I like to use almonds, pistachios, sometimes cashews, craisins, dried apricots, dried cherries. That really gives it almost baklava vibe with the pistachio and the almonds. So good. We even do a cookies and cream one. You can do just that base. I wouldn't put the almond extract in, but I would do the vanilla and then just a bunch of Oreos all cut up. That makes an awesome nougat too. So let me know what you do. And hope you enjoy it. Merry Christmas. Thanks.